got something special for you.
What?
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Ryan, give me the thing.
What thing?
This thing.
What's this?
Now, I've already opened it, but you need to open it here.
Oh my God, what is it? Oh my God, is this what I think it is?
There's my little drum roll.
Oh my God, it's the book. That was very high pitched.
It was high pitched.
Oh my God, it's actually physically in my hand.
It's physically here.
Quite amazing, isn't it?
It's only a draft copy, a proof copy.
Oh my God, it's actually there written.
Well, then tell people what it is.
It's
Give me a rundown. What's on the cover?
Let's talk dog business strategy. The dog trainer's guide to ideal clients, more money and freedom.
Oh.
Jo Moorcroft and Vicky Davis. Do you want to know who the forward's written by?
Yeah.
Well, you already know. For everyone else's benefit.
I was trying to build anticipation. Tell me.
For everyone else's benefit, Jo Rosie Huffington has kindly written our forward.
Pretty epic, that, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a really good forward, actually. Really good.
And Jo, I do believe you listen to these podcasts, so super thanks from us, because that forward is epic and we really do appreciate it.
Yes, we do. I'm just getting to the forward. Oh no, I've missed it. Oh God, there's so many exciting things in here. There it is. Wow.
I thought you was going to read a little excerpt of it then.
Do you want me to read a little excerpt of it?
Yeah, go on.
Shall I? Hang on, I've lost it again now. Where's it gone? Story time, Jack and Ori. I recall vividly the day I told my mum I was going to be a dog trainer. She was furious. Those little lines above her twitching mouth furrowed and made her look old. She told me I had wasted years at university and begged me to at least explore the option of a vet nurse. Yes, I had that same conversation with my mum. Embarrassed that the neighbours might hear of this travesty through the walls, she whispered, "Come on, Jo, you'll be poor forever. Me and your dad can't keep bailing you out of parking fines." I love that.
Yeah, it's really weird listening to it like that. But yeah, that's a little snippet from Jo's forward.
This is really surreal, actually, reading it.
It's quite surreal.
It's someone else's book.
So more importantly, aside from us being giggly and all excited about it, there is a little picture of us on the back. How is this going to help anybody?
Well, this is going to give somebody, this is basically what I wish I'd had when I started my dog business. Do you wish you'd had it as well?
Damn straight.
Because this is the bit that was massively missing, is the strategy. Mm-hmm. It was start a dog business, hope for the best, get some clients in, and then eventually get burnt out because there was no strategy. And this is your step-by-step guide to creating those building blocks that are going to set you apart from everybody else and make it solid. Yeah,
it's the more I think about it, ever since you and I have been hanging out now for the last several years, the phrase "scratting around" is etched in my brain.
Yeah, love that phrase. I love it for all the right reasons now.
Yes, but that's essentially what I was doing. Initially, it is all that scrattiness of just.
I knew you'd have to bring I knew you'd have to bring Ness into it.
Not do it.
Every word at the moment. I don't know what has happened in your brain, but every single word has got to have Ness on the end.
I love a bit of Ness.
Scrattiness.
Scrattiness. It works.
I don't know if it is a word.
It works.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, all of that stuff where you're like, just don't know where to start. I've got to send emails out. I've got to do a social media post. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And certainly for me at that time, I'd left corporate world in a marketing position. So there was me investing a fuck ton of money on getting the website right, doing the Google ads, doing all the stuff that actually wasn't the right strategy for where I was at in business, because I was a brand new startup. It doesn't make sense to do all of that.
No, but we've got no clue. And we just see what everyone else is doing and we just copy it.
Yeah.
But they might be way more established and they might have been doing it for a long time. And when we look at the likes of Jo Rosie, let's look at School of Canine Science. How many people are trying to replicate that kind of model? Mm. And they're just not ready for it yet, and they haven't got an audience to do it anyway. But it's that kind of comparisonitis that we just get stuck in. And I was definitely guilty of comparing myself to others. I did it for years.
Yeah.
Can't do this, can't do that because they're not doing that. And actually, this is basically the biggest thing that somebody's going to get out of this book, actually. Yes, you've got all the steps. Yes, you've got all that to follow. But it's think outside the box, get creative, have fun, and you do whatever you want to do. It's your business, it's your life. You create whatever you want to off the back of it. And I hope that that message really comes across in there.
Yeah. And if it doesn't, then you just get to read about our fuck ups anyway, so it's fine.
There are plenty of those in there as well.
But it's true, isn't it? It's like, I think it's sometimes easy to think, oh, look, listen to these two. It's fine for them. They've got that. They've got this podcast. They've done that. I was like, it's been grafting though to get here, but not grafting and not hustling in that scratty way. Like, it's been a very strategic approach to how we do everything. And I know for me, certainly, when I was doing the dog training business prior to you coming on board and us merging those businesses together, it was, I got it to such a state that I was so happy with how I was delivering it, because the money was regular. I had that stability. I had that, I think it's safety. Like, I've been thinking about this a lot recently, like that safety feeling and how important that actually is for every single human being on the planet. Like, without feeling safe, God, you make some shit decisions.
Yes. Yeah, and we've both made some really shit decisions.
Really
based on
shit decisions.
Fear of not having that safety.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that comes from genuinely not knowing where to go. Like, what foot forward do you actually do?
Yeah. Without that strategy, it's just not sustainable. Like, it's not sustainable financially, but it's not sustainable mentally, because you are literally on a roller coaster of up and down from day to day. So even if you make a really awesome sale, you've got nothing in place to get some regular recurring income and some reliable sort of, you haven't got really loyal clients that you could potentially go back to and see if they need your help again. It's literally like living day to day going, how am I going to get the next paycheck almost? And so, like, that is not a good place for your body physiologically to be in, or your head mentally to be at. And it's going to really stress you out. And this is where I actually do think that that's what burns people out more. It's probably less of the physical stuff that you're doing, although I do think that scratting around is a physical thing as well. And me definitely having done scratting around at puppy classes and scratting around at dog walking for years with making very little money. But also I think it's that burnout in your sort of mentally in your head as well.
Yeah. I was thinking about burnout the other week, actually. Don't know why, but I think we must have been having a conversation, or you were remembering that time when you were burnt out. And I was wondering if I ever actually achieved burnout. And
what
for me,
quantifies burnout?
Yeah, that's it. I think that's what I was struggling with, because I mean, certainly for me, I mean, you know, I can take quite a lot. And I don't mean that to sound like a, whoa, look at me.
I'm thinking now, what the hell would it take for you to burn out?
Well, yeah. I know this sounds really bad. Like, it makes me feel a bit icky saying it out loud, but I do actually wonder. But God, I forget how long I was in that job, like 13, 14 years I was in that agency world. And I mean, I've described it to you, what that kind of work entails. And I think when you can cope with that, like, everything else just seems relatively...
Your nervous system lives in another level, probably, for all of that.
I mean, maybe it has been a learned thing, but it did get me wondering, like, I wonder what burnout does actually, like, how do you quantify it? What does it actually look like? Because I don't think it is as simple as saying you've got too much on.
No. I think it was a realisation of, I'd done the same kinds of things for years. I'd lived to the same sort of level of being here, there and everywhere and not earning that much money. But I think something must have changed in my brain to go, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to have to do this anymore. And the thought of doing it forever, it just fills me with, like, not fear, but it fills me with like a depressive sort of state. Like a dread, like a depressive, like dark place to be in. I don't know whether that was it.
Yeah.
Because like arguably I'd done it for so long that my body had probably got used to doing it in that kind of same, way, with the difference that you did yours. So I don't know, but I think there's something definitely snapped in my brain to go like, this cannot happen forever. Like it's either something needs to change and I change the business model, which is what I ended up doing, or I need to stop doing it completely and just do something else.
Yeah. Because this is what I was thinking though, with that burnout bit, and more specifically how it relates to strategy, which is what we've just written a whole bleeding book about, is how do you kind of quantify it? How can you do it? And to me, I was thinking maybe it's that feeling of you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you don't feel like it's propelling you any further forwards. Now, whether or not you know what you want your further forwards to be, because I'd also say that there is an argument that I don't think enough of us spend any time goal setting. And do you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of like, oh, I'm just going to pick a random figure out of the air as a goal, or do you know what I mean? Like surface level goals, let's call it. But I don't think if you don't really know what you're working towards and you're just doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for a better outcome, like, but A, do you even know what that better outcome looks like? Does that mean that you're working less for more money? Is that actually going to make you happy? Are you working to try and help a certain number of people, a certain number of dogs? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what are you actually working towards? So I think that is a massive part of this burnout thing that we're all living in, because you're not striving for any kind of purpose. And I think this is where it is very linked in with that strategic piece that is missing.
Yeah, and actually you saying that now has made me think back to that time and go, I wanted more, and I've always told you this, that I've always did want more. Like I would always do things for a certain amount of time and then go, well, that's not really floating my boat anymore. Like I need to do something different. I feel like it's not bringing the results to people and I need to just better it, but didn't really know what that better was. So I think for me, the purpose was the missing brick in the wall, really. It just, because I didn't have it, I didn't know what that better was. I didn't know what I was striving for specifically, but I knew there was something. It was like cloudy, very fuzzy kind of something. And maybe that's what happened with me then, that I was like, I want better. Every time I think I've got better, it isn't that. Something more, but I don't know what it is. And I'm like, I'm still earning no money for doing all this stuff. Like I can't do it. And potentially that's what it was. It's really hard, though, because, we're having that conversation the other day about how much we're so far removed from the people we used to be.
Yeah.
Like I'm now finding that thinking about this, I'm really struggling to actually pinpoint exactly the time. I can sort of work it out based on like what I was doing and what kind of what holidays I probably had that year or whatever. But I actually couldn't tell you it's this, some people know, don't they? Like 4 years and 3 months to the day. Like I couldn't tell you what it was, but it feels so far ago, like long ago, that I can't even really remember it very clearly anymore. And maybe I don't want to remember it clearly. Maybe it's just like, I don't feel like I need to dwell on it, maybe. Because I never do. I just look at that place in time and go, that was the pivotal moment that made me think, right, this has got to stop now. And then when the business model changed and all of that strategy came in and had the purpose and I had all of that clarity, that's where it all just got really clear. Like everything that, like what I was saying before about everything being a bit fuzzy, suddenly it all cleared. And I was like, wow, now I know what I'm supposed to do here.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was thinking about the name of the book then. It's like, Let's Talk Dog Business Strategy. Because, for starters, we had to have freaking Let's Talk Dog Business, didn't we?
Yes.
Like, we love I was going to say our little podcast. It's not a little podcast anymore.
I know.
It's like nearly at 37,000 downloads or something. So, as a side note, thank you for listening. Guys. Like, that's unbelievable. But yeah, the reason we kind of tied it in back with that book and putting that strategy bit in is that we wholeheartedly believe that this is the underpinning bit that is almost missing, I suppose, in a lot of these businesses. However, what are your thoughts on strategy? in the sense that if we rewind back to when we were having our little tea and cake at that farm shop, and I said to you, oh, we need to look at the strategy, it just wouldn't land, would it?
I'd have switched off.
Yeah, you would have done.
Because I was so not in a business
So why
mindset.
would anybody? Why should people listen to strategy?
Well, to be honest, I would say that we have. How long is that chapter? I'm just looking at it now. So the little chapter 2 is called mindset, and really, the whole book is about mindset, isn't it? Mm. It's if you don't get that bit right, the rest won't work anyway. But because we're trying to cover all bases with this, aren't we? We're trying to be in your shoes and understand how it feels and have a real logical roadmap of where you are currently and where you need to be. Yeah. But surrounding all of that stuff is mindset and personal development and all of that stuff. Like, we have just in an interview this morning, actually, with a guest who was told his story about personal development and how important that is. But again, if we called the book Mindset, Let's Talk Mindset, like, it might not pique people's interest either. So I suppose the strategy is the all-encompassing thing, but the word itself doesn't inspire. And, no. and let's be honest, really, we didn't really want the word strategy in the title, but we decided that it was kind of needed, really. So it's a really tricky one, isn't it, it's a really tricky one to try to get across what's in it and what will help you propel that business.
Yeah. So I think some of the things that we hear a lot and we address not only in our coaching program, but this book, which now makes it more accessible for everybody to get into this. But things like when people are saying, I'm not earning enough, I just need more inquiries, people are ghosting me. Like, they have a great conversation, maybe we do an in-person consult, and then tumbleweed, like nothing happens. Mm-hmm. All of these are kind of the areas where we get to really deep dive on into the book and we really wanted this book to be, don't even know if I want to call it a guide, but you could walk away, write notes in it if you want to, although...
Oh, that's a contentious subject.
I mean, I do and I don't. Not in every book. I put Post-it notes in.
If it's pencil, I kind of get it, but I still don't do it myself.
I think I've done it more with textbooks.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's arguably a bit like a textbook.
It is a little bit like a textbook.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Post-it note, there's certain sections then.
Okay, I'll allow a Post-it note.
But use it as something to refer back to. So we definitely do not envisage, my brain's gone to mush with this lurgy, this book being something that you just read, or worse, it just sits on your shelf.
Yes. There's no point in having this book if you're not going to do it. If you're not going to do the work. At least take something away from it and do it.
Yeah. It's the implementation side of it it's the thing that's going to help you move that needle somewhere in your business, because I think there's easily a split. I don't know the exact number, but for argument's sake, call it 50-50, where 50% of you will be quite comfortable with your business and going, do you know what? I'm good. The money's coming in fine. I've got enough inquiries. I'm relatively happy. Okay, things maybe could be a bit slicker. I'm a bit interested in creating that recurring revenue a little bit more, or that passive income. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's, we're good, but
kind of coasting.
I kind of want to grow and scale in a way that feels suited to you. And then the other 50% of you that are like, fucking hell, I'm just
broken.
Yeah, I just don't know where the next paycheck's coming from. I have no idea where I'm going to get inquiries from. Inquiries have just dried up. It's dead. Nothing's out there. Nobody wants to pay for dog training. I'm just getting ghosted. All of that stuff.
Hate running the service anymore, because no, I don't get the clients that I want. I don't get the results that I want because the clients aren't right. Mm-hmm. I've lost the love.
Yeah, all of that. So whichever side you're sitting on, this book will give you something to be able to move you forward. And that was the whole premise of us wanting to go as broad as we have, because the hope is that we will do some more of these in more detail.
Yes, we're going to have a series of books with different subjects that deep dive further. The other thing is that, like we said before, if only we'd have had this book when we started out. So it's a great, like, someone coming into the industry or somebody kind of pivoting a little bit. Say you're a dog walker and you want to bring in other arms of the business and you're not quite sure how to tack them on or where to go from there. Like, this would be perfect for you. So it kind of, or if you want to go bigger, like bigger, and you want because that's where you cannot miss out the strategy when you're going bigger. Like, it should be all businesses, but if you're going bigger, it can't work if you've got no strategy to bring staff on, how the culture works between the staff, like all of that stuff, like, has to be strategic, else it will just fall down, or you'll be stuck with a load of people that you don't actually want and it doesn't work anyway.
Oh, yes. So here's a question for you then. When we were sat down and we were looking at your business and we were almost putting all this strategic implementation in, what was the biggest outcome for you?
Like, result for me?
Yeah.
It brought the love back for the business, because I'd totally lost it.
How did it bring the love back?
Because I enjoyed working with clients again. The clients that I was bringing on were like the most amazing people that I'd never. Do you know what it was? I had amazing clients, but I didn't get to know them well enough because they were in and out like a factory of churning puppy classes out. So they'd come in, I'd have loads of people to accommodate, never really got to know them. Bye. They may come back for another course later, but they may never have come back. I may do the odd one-to-one with them, but that would be it. And now that relationship of really getting to know. So like, I had a couple of clients that came to puppy classes years ago. I started working the way we work now. And I was really worried about it because I was like, oh, they're not going to come back because they're used to paying that and they're not going to. And they did. And you know what? It was like I never even knew them before. I was like, wow, like, I've spent 6 months with you and I know everything about you. I know everything about your life. You pretty much know everything about mine. I know your dog inside out. I know your household inside out. I know why you're not doing the work if it gets, to that point. I understand your challenges. I understand your blockers. I can talk them through with you. I can be there, like, to take you along the journey the whole way. And that was the difference. That was what I never, ever had. And therefore, I was like, I love doing this every day. I got out of bed, was like, yes, I get to see that person again today because I love them. And I pretty much loved every single person that I was ever working with when I was on my own from that point forward. And that is like, it gave me a reason to get out of bed again because I just didn't want, do you know what? This is like painful getting out of bed before that. So for me, it was lots of things there probably, but the overarching difference was that I really enjoyed it again.
What were some of the others?
More money.
Yeah.
That was a biggie. That was like my own limiting beliefs of you can't possibly like expect to get anyone by that. And when the first person bought it, I was like, oh my God, it's possible. And then it really spurred me up because it was like a proven concept then. So you got one person in, you get 2 people in. We started doing our group sessions as well because it was all one-to-one before that. And then we do little monthly group sessions. And I've got a group of people. I've got 2. I remember having that conversation with you about it. Going, I've got a group. So the money was like, oh my God, never had this much money before. Like, in self-employment, I never had that much money before. And it was just really nice. And then when I'd got some recurring income, I'd got some like a really good strategy in place to get people staying with me for longer, and all in integrity, by the way. This isn't me just like going, haha, I'll get them to stay, and they don't really need to. It's all like done with love and like in service of somebody. And then I was like, awesome, I've got these people that are on like a monthly membership and they're just like ticking along in the background, and I still get to see them. I still get to change their lives. And then I'm bringing new people in as well. So like that was really nice because I felt comfortable and I felt safe. And I thought, do you know what? Like I can start saving. I can start doing more stuff that I couldn't do. Well, I could do before, but I had the support of my husband then. So I was like, I can be my own person here and get my own money. And it was really nice.
It's a big deal, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And when I'm talking about it, I'm like, it really, really made me feel like that. Such like a free, like really gave me a lot of freedom actually.
Yeah. And did it feel like, I suppose it's a tricky one to answer because I think because of how well I know you and how adverse, let's say, we were to, I think you assumed a lot of this business stuff was like it falls under that corporate category, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, no,
Yep.
this isn't.
Very fixed mindset on business in inverted commas.
Yeah. So did it ever feel like business?
No. It never
in
felt
how
like.
you thought it was going to be?
No. It never felt like business because it was exciting, it was fun, and it was like, oh, this is me. I'm doing this. Like, this is me. Okay, you know, having some help here, but I'm doing this myself. I'm making the choice here to change this. And that really, really excited me. I was like, tell me more. Tell me all the other stuff. What else do I need to do here? And so like, and that's how, when we work with people that have that same, like their fire in their belly, I know how that feels. And it like, that's why we do what we do, because it really makes the difference. It's the best feeling in the world. It's that, first of all, you get that like the fear of, is this sustainable? Like, is this really going to be my life? It's easy to slip back into old ways. And I definitely tried to slip back into old ways because I was so, don't forget, it was like 13, 14 years of doing things another way. And so like, we're only human beings. Like the patterns are so strong that they're really hard to break. And so like, when I tried to slip back, no, let's keep going forwards. Let's look at what has worked and what we can do again. Right, cool. Okay, let's get back on track. And then it always worked again. And so that reinforcement of the new patterns then overrode the old patterns, but it took time.
That's why it's called strategy, I suppose.
I know.
It fascinates me every single time like we talk about this. And I think what I loved about what you said there as well is that this is why this book is so important to us, because it means then that everything that you've just described and how you were feeling is how I was feeling when I was doing it as well. I was like, I love it. I love feeling that I am a strong, confident businesswoman. I can do this. I have the power. I have the ability. I have the expertise, and I get to do it doing something that I love as well. Yeah. Like I get to go and help people with their dogs, which is the thing that I was so incredibly passionate about. Like every waking spare minute was always spent reading dog books or going on courses and doing all the CPD and going to the conferences. And, you know, it was my whole world. Mm-hmm. And knowing then that I could do the business alongside that and I didn't have to give up to do one or the other, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So knowing that we can give that to other people.
Yeah. So I want to touch on because your journey was different to mine in that you'd come from your corporate background. So your knowledge of business was different to mine. Like you arguably knew a lot more about business than me. So let's say if, like we talked about with the book, someone who is pretty new to things, has a bit of an idea of like, I want to do something with dogs, but I don't really know how to start a business, don't know what to do. Your perspective on it is like, your background had some business. Okay, it's developed as the years have gone by, and we're always learning every single day. Like someone in business who does their business really well, who says they're not learning something new every day, it's just not true. No. Like you always should be learning something every day. You'd be
failing if you're doing that.
Yeah, you're failing. So like for you, because you had that ground, look at the difference. Like, so look where I started and look what I became. So almost my jump is bigger than yours because of where I was to where I got to. But yours, you kind of came in the middle, and therefore like you already had a better strategy than me. You already knew why would you charge those fees? So like, okay, your fees increased over time, but you came in at a completely different level to me. So look at that. Like if you've got that kind of guidance at the beginning, that's where you can avoid making those really scratty mistakes, can't you? So like how, from your perspective then, that journey's come on massively for you even though you came in like way above me, I guess.
It's huge because I still came and said, yes, I did have a lot more knowledge at that time, but it wasn't like targeted knowledge to starting a business. It was still, God, I remember even sitting there the one day going, how do I even start a business? Like, how do I have to tell somebody that I'm doing
I remember that,
something? Do you where do you read, do you have to, do you know what I mean? Like all that stuff. And it's like,
really basic stuff.
How do I take him money? Like none of it. So
do I need a business bank account?
I don't even think that even entered my head initially. Or even like the insurance and stuff and everything. And you do the thing of like you go onto Facebook and be like, oh hi, I'm just starting a dog business or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What do I need? And then boom, all of this stuff. And I'm like, right, okay.
But hold on. Actually, I'm going to stop you mid-flow there because do you think that the perspective of business, let's start a business, is all of those things you've just talked about? Is, do you register with HMRC? Do you need insurance? Do you need a business bank account? Do you feel that for most people that start a dog business, those are the only things they're thinking about?
Probably not. I don't know. I'm a bit of a weird one. That's what I thought. Is that not normal? No?
Well, I'm just...
You're just looking at me blankly. I'm like...
I'm just wondering if that's what
we should have put in the book.
No. But those are the things that aren't in the book, by the way. None of that you'll find in the book. But I wonder I think from my perspective, that's all I was worrying about with a business. As long as I've ticked off a bank account, insurance, what else do we just say? Like HMRC. Yeah. As long as I've ticked those off, I'm good to go.
I mean, yeah.
That's what I think probably a lot of people... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, but that's what I think that I thought.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, arguably, because then you're like, oh, look, there's a business. And then it's just it's so messy, isn't it? Like,
yeah, messy is the word.
Casting my mind back to just like, where the fuck do you even start? Like, okay, I've decided I want to be a trainer. I didn't know anything about training. I think I've told this story before, but I was watching Cesar Millan on TV. That's literally it. That's exactly how I started. And then I found out that somebody was giving a course on pretty much that way of teaching. So I went to a 2-day event in a village hall.
Well, that's it then. Another box ticked off.
Yeah. I took Leica with me. Don't know why. She just sat there all day. That's all we just took. It was like going to the pub, basically. And she just had to sit there all day and we just watched a PowerPoint. But then I got a certificate at the end of it to say that I knew dog psychology. And I was like, yay! When
world.
Facebook pops up with your memories.
Oh God, was it on there? Oh dear.
Popped up the other way. Like 10 years ago. I was
cringe.
Sat in this village hall. I'm like, oh look, off on my dog behaviour journey. But it's how I started.
Yeah.
And then I was just, So, and then you started hearing the advice of like, oh, just look at what everybody else is doing and just copy that. So again, this is what concerns me greatly, that 10 years later, the business model I see people doing is what I started with 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like,
and
seriously?
I think it's probably the same from 17 years ago for me as well.
But,
yeah. It's really scary, isn't it?
It makes me speechless because
archaic this industry, it really is.
Look at how everything else is moving on. And okay, you might think that it's not the same, but I'm going to respectfully disagree because technology, fuck my life. Like how much does that change even monthly now? Like you and I were having this conversation earlier about how much ChatGPT has grown even within the last 12 months on how I've been using it. Like it's gotten so much better. So if that is happening at the rate that it is happening, why are we still doing the stuff that was happening 10 and even like 17 years ago?
Because it's being drip fed down from organisations that are living in that kind of 90s thought process. And that's the worrying thing.
Yeah.
This is who we're listening to.
Yeah. So now we've got to start looking at this strategy bit. We've got to start looking at. So the whole purpose of this book is to go, why are you doing what you're doing? How does that compare to how you're running your business at the moment? How are you helping people? How are you actually going to bring people into your world? How are you going to actually sell them something?
How are you going to nurture them first?
How are you going to just pull everything together and go, right, this is my offer. This is what I'm fucking awesome at. This is what my superpower is. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is how I need to start thinking differently. And this is how I need to start implementing it.
So are you saying that I don't just slap a post on Facebook and expect everybody to buy it? Buy this thing. Does that not work?
No comment.
I think that says it all.
So no, I think in short, we're really excited about this book.
Really excited. I can't stop looking at it.
I know.
I've got to say, it's a very pretty book.
It is a pretty book.
I mean, it's not pretty. It hasn't got a dog on it. Like, guys, it hasn't got a dog on it. I don't know how you're going to cope, actually. It has got a dog tail because it's got our logo from the podcast on. But it's very pretty, and it's like, I think it's cool.
Show the camera.
Look at it. It's gorgeous.
It won't have the band across the middle.
No, it won't have the not for resale. But look at this picture. And do you know what? This picture, it's a night out in here at Peterborough.
Yeah.
And we were doing a little stupid photo shoot thing. But that one, the picture we chose actually, was just a really quick like selfie against a nice black, brick wall. And we were like, actually, we really like that picture. So it always reminds me of that night here. But yeah, proud of it.
So to wrap up today's episode then, we hope you found it helpful in terms of thinking about what strategy could be. And being completely bloody honest, it's a nice genuine plug for our book. So in the show notes, there is going to be a link. We'll get you on our priority list, which means you will be eligible for a shit ton of amazing bonuses that come alongside this book when it is launched. So make sure you get your name on that list.
Get yourself on that priority list because you will miss out on some cool things. And don't you want to be one of the first to buy it? Tell all your friends about it.
Yes, please.
Thank you, guys. Really hope you enjoyed this episode and give us a little review and get your name on the priority list.